it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, May 13th. So today we do have the moon shifting out of that Aquarian energy. We did go void, of course, shortly after that beautiful aspect between the moon and Jupiter last evening. We went void, of course. We are locking in to Pisces energy 40 minutes after midnight a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so this means that the transition from Aquarian energy to Piscean energy, we are moving out of that emotional detachment that the Aquarian energy gave us in order to think about future prospects and problem solving, solutions and opportunities. We're moving out of that highest form of intellect. We're dropping deep into the feels in Pisces energy. So one thing about the moon in Pisces is that we do not want to participate in reality at all. We want to live in la la land. We want to live in imagination land. We want to live in fantasy. We want to basically just retreat from our circumstances, live in a beautiful imaginative state while our physical bodies are wrapped up in a blanket, cuddled in a ball, in the most comfiest of places, where we get to totally detach and disassociate with our physical realms. Now, is that going to be possible for most of us? Absolutely not, but it is going to be a struggle to stay in our physical bodies, connected to our physical selves, here in our physical circumstances, while our inner realm is alive and well and inviting us into play. So there's that. The moon in Pisces, of course, wants to wrap things up, wants to wrap things full circle. We have a new cycle beginning when the moon moves into Aries energy, and you best believe that we are going to have to move to the deepest, darkest points of our experiences over the last month in order to bring them full circle, make them make sense, see them from a different set of eyes, and push ourselves into a new level of awareness. That is what that Pisces energy always does for us. It's a very spiritual time. We are hypersensitive, super emotional, picking up on subtle energies left, right, and center. And so it is a very mystical time. It is a time of rest. It is a time of unwinding. And it is a time where we realize where it is that we are exhausted, where we need a break, where we need to refresh and renew ourselves, and where it is that we have to kind of, I'm going to say, spend a little bit more time on our spiritual selves instead of the physical realm that, of course, the moon in Pisces doesn't want us to experience to begin with. So we got a lot going on. Not to mention, we just had our last quarter moon taking place in Aquarius energy here yesterday, which brought us full circle from this last lunar cycle that we are in, preparing to shut the door on these particular experiences that, of course, will bring us back to normal energy programming with the new moon in Taurus on May 19th. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that today is the last day that Mercury will be retrograde. Let's all take a deep breath. Let's all just understand that this was a tough one. Mercury going retrograde in Earth signs absolutely sucks. And we have Mercury retrograding in all of the Earth signs here this year. So just be grateful, just be thankful that we survived this one. We have a couple of weeks of that post-shadow period before things are going to start making a lot of sense. And we're going to see things very clearly as they are and not for the way that we wish them to be. We have a little bit more time before we're going to get back on track here, but the fact that Mercury is going direct is something that we need to celebrate. It has been a very tough go. So like any other situation, any other time that a planet is preparing to go direct, there's always this intensity. There's always this pressurized system for us to really feel that energy before it leaves us. And I don't know about y'all, but the last couple of days has just been Mercury retrograde antics back to back, just affecting everything, technology, communication, mood, just really impacting us in the worst kind of way. Because again, all that energy gets balled up. We need to learn this lesson before Mercury goes direct. But we're in it. We have just a couple of hours to get through, and then we are going to start seeing things pieced together in the most beautiful of ways. So there's a lot going on. There are 11 different aspects here today, and 10 of them will involve the moon. So the moon in Pisces is now going to make an aspect with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in the very beginning degrees of Aquarius energy, preparing again to move back into that Capricorn energy June 11th. We're not there yet. We're still in this Aquarian energy. And Pluto in this Aquarian energy is analyzing our deepest, darkest secrets, fears, doubts, insecurities. We're taking a good look at our power issues, at our self-sabotage. What it comes down to is boundaries. Where we need to create better boundaries in our lives. Why? Well, to prevent us from giving our power away, to prevent us from constantly putting our own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner in order to do what we think other people are expecting us to do. We have a lot to sort through. Now, the moon in Pisces and Pluto, who is retrograde in this Aquarian energy, are making an interaction that will peel back a different layer, a different perspective on where it is that some things, some cycles, some habits, some behaviors have to end. Pisces energy about endings. Pluto, the great transformer, how do you transform? You put an end to something in order to give birth to something else. You need to destroy something in order to create something. So we are doing a deep dive in our heart space, in our psyche. We are starting to see where the heaviness is, where the existential dread is, where it is that we're looping in our patterns and behaviors, and we're going to nip it in the bud. We're going to peel back the layers. We're going to set eyes on it. We're going to bring it into our awareness. We're going to have the ability to change the narrative. So here's the thing. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, in Cancer energy, very, very emotional, very in tune with our basic needs in life to feel emotionally, financially safe, secure, supported in our home, in our relationship dynamics, is going to trine. Okay, so this is a beautiful energy. Trine with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles and responsibilities in Pisces energy. Cancer energy, Pisces energy, they're both water signs. This is what gives us our trine. They're working together. This is a harmonious aspect, but what is it going to do? First of all, it's going to slow things down. We need to have energy management. We need to provide ourselves with as much stability as possible. Why? Well, because it's hard to gauge what we need, what we want, what we desire when things are crazy and chaotic. We don't know what we're doing when we're in a shitstorm of energy. So we need to slow things down. We need to ground, if you will. So what this energy is going to do is push us into a focus where we really want to sort out our feelings. We want to sort out the confusion. We want to sort out the chaos. We need to boss up. We need to take control. We need to squash the fears, the doubts, the insecurities. We need to really just understand how it is that we're thinking, how it is that we're feeling, especially when it comes to our relationships, our finances, and our happiness, our joy, our pleasure levels. That's what Venus is all about. And yes, in Cancer energy, we do just want to focus on what the bare basics of all of that looks like. What do we need to feel safe and secure and stable in our lives? That's where it starts. Anything over and above a basic need is a luxury. And it's a gift. And I'm not saying that we need to be happy with just living in the basic needs, but we have to start there because many of us don't even have that going for us right now. So we have to stabilize the foundation of our basic needs before we can go building those luxury items on top of things. So this is definitely going to bring a little bit more of a reality check in, which is going to be a very vast contrast to the moon being in Pisces energy, mind you. And we're going to be very in our feels, very in our physical bodies, very in our physical circumstances in order for us to sort ourselves out. The moon in Pisces will then make a very positive interaction with Mars. Mars, of course, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger in Cancer energy. So again, water on water action. What does water do for us? Yes, it makes us very emotional, but it also kind of cleanses us. It purifies us. And water is the only element that can take on all the different forms: liquid, gas, solid. So water element is transformation. It is change. Now, the moon in Pisces is definitely looking to kind of see where things need to end in order for new things to begin. But Mars is anxiously awaiting moving into that Leo energy where he can really listen to his heart space, where he can tap into that fire energy, where he can go ahead and initiate something new, where he can aggress himself and assert himself in a straightforward pattern to go after what it is that makes him happy, what it is that he has a new passion for, what it is that he truly desires. Well, he's not there yet. In Cancer energy, he's up one moment, he's down the next. He feels good about something one moment, he feels awful about it the next. And this is why he's growing agitated, frustrated, of being in this emotional up and down revolving door type of energy. Lucky for us, this is a good vibe, a good energy between the two, which means that we are most likely riding the wave, riding the peak, if you will. We're on our way up. And when we're on our way up, we understand that there are new options available, new opportunities, new paths, new directions available for us to walk. It also shows us where it is that we are becoming inspired, where we do feel a call, a passion, a new purpose, a new meaning kind of flustering up in us and really calling out our name in a lot of different opportunities in our exterior realm. And so the creative energy, the intuitive energy, the emotional energy that we're feeling right now is very transformative. We are on the up and up. We are on a very, very high. We're going to ride that wave for all it's worth. Even knowing that we may come crashing down just hours or even days later, doesn't matter. We're going to take it all in, take a mental and emotional perspective of how it is that we're thinking and feeling at this particular moment. We're going to revisit this when we find ourselves crashing down. We're going to revisit this mental memory snapshot. We're going to remind ourselves where it is that we were excited, where we were motivated, where we were inspired to actually take action and pursue a new path. So the moon is then going to semi-square, which is a little bit of a tension point, with Chiron, the wounded healer. Now, as beautiful as the Pisces energy may be, as healing and transformative as it may be, sometimes we have to feel what it is that we have to heal. And healing would suggest that there is a wound or a pain or a trauma that we have to heal from. And of course, to feel those things do not feel good. The downside, the con side of the moon in Pisces is that we feel everything to the point where we just want to check out, where we want to numb, where we just want to disassociate. We feel everything so freaking greatly that we don't know where we end and other people or other things begin. We're taking on all of the subtle energies from the people around us, from our environment, and it is very overwhelming. It is very confusing. Chiron, being the wounded healer in this Aries energy, has to do with our ego identity, our egoic avatar. We are changing very rapidly in our inner realm, which has a huge impact on our outer realm. And essentially, we are going through this reinvention of self. But this is a semi-square. This is a tension point. This is a conflict which drudges up all the not so nice thoughts and feels that will overwhelm us to the point where we are going to want to check out. We are going to want to run. We're going to want to hide. We're going to want to throw ourselves into all of the things that numb us out from feeling the feels that we have to feel in order to heal. So you can see the contradictory cycle and loop that we get stuck in at particular points with these particular energies. What I will say is that it doesn't last very long, and thank goodness for that, because the moon in Pisces sextiles, which is a beautiful energy, with the true node, the north node in Taurus, which is our soul path moving forward. What does this mean? It means that that little cluster F that we just had to sit in, it revealed a couple of things to us. It showed us where it is that growth is needed, that healing is needed, and bringing just that into our awareness means that we have changed the course of our vibration and frequency, which means that we are growing, we are healing just by having the awareness of what it is that we have to grow through and what it is that we have to heal through. And having that awareness essentially changes who it is that we are, because we just unearthed an unconscious pattern and behavior that fuels our egoic habits and behaviors, keeping us stuck in a paralyzed loop of just repetitive nonsense. This is a good indication that we just had enough in awareness, enough of an epiphany to actually change the course of our awareness. This means that we are essentially bringing things full circle, Pisces energy, providing an ending and a closure, Pisces energy, healing, feeling, Pisces energy, and evolving, growing, Pisces energy. This is a good vibe. Shortly thereafter, we have the moon in Pisces sextiling with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, who is retrograde in this Taurus energy. This is a sextile, so this is a good vibe, a good energy. Yes, Mercury has us looking back, has us reflecting. Pisces energy does that as well. But this is a sextile. This means that we've been looking back, we've been reflecting, we've been revising, we've been analyzing how it is that we've gotten here, how it is that we've created circumstances for ourselves that we're currently standing in. And an epiphany will pop off, an aha moment, a light bulb moment, if you will pop off that will show us a different layer, a different perspective on what needs to change, where we've outgrown certain things, what it is that we want to create from here. The moon being our heart space, Mercury being our head space, sextiling, which is a beautiful energy. It means that our heart and our head are in agreement about certain things that we're looking back on, that we're reflecting on, that we're analyzing, that we are evaluating, that need to change. This is a good vibe. So then the moon in Pisces energy comes up to, bumps into, conjuncts Saturn. Saturn is the Lord of Karma, ruling over structures, foundation, roles, responsibilities in Pisces energy. Now, I'm gonna break it down for you. It could go one of two ways. The first way is that we could have a little bit of a reality check. And again, that's hard to do with Pisces energy because Pisces energy wants to live in fantasy land. We're having a little bit of a reality check because that's what Saturn does. He's a little bit of a Debbie Downer. He brings us back down to earth for good reason. He wants us to tap into this Pisces energy to show us where it is that if we took a realistic approach to our dreams, to our vision, to our beliefs, that we could create something very strong, very stable. We could bring our dreams to life. But what's stopping us is the delusions, is the lies, is the falsities, the fantasies, the imagination that we allow to kind of, I'm going to say, create a world that could never be built without a certain sense of reality, without coming back down to earth. We have to embody, we have to use our physical bodies in order to build the vision and the dreams that we're so comfortable living in fantasy land, in imaginary land. So this could be a reality check in all the right kind of ways. This could provide us with a little bit of inspiration and motivation on what it is that we need to do as far as getting our ass in gear, taking charge, taking control, taking the power back in our physical realms, and really cleaning out the junk that's preventing us from having a clean slate to build something new in its place. Or we could be so freaking overwhelmed with the negative Nancy Debbie Downer type of attitude that it could be so all-consuming that we just beat ourselves down, break ourselves down, retreat so freaking far from our external world to live in a fantasy land that is made out of torture, made out of anxiety, made out of horror. Okay, that's what the egoic mind does when we're in a state of change. It scares the crap out of us, hoping to put us in a state of paralysis so that we don't grow, we don't evolve, we don't move forward. I would hope that we could all align with the first way because that is the best way. But if you find yourself kind of aligning with the second unfolding where it's not so good vibes and it doesn't feel so good, please know that it's not going to happen. It's not going to stay like that for very long. We have the moon trining beautiful energy with Venus in Cancer shortly after, which means that this reality check, whether it comes to us in the best way or the worst way, we are going to have a different perspective when we sit in those realizations, recognizing what it is that we need. Not what we want, not what we desire, what we need. What we need in ourselves as far as discipline goes, as far as love and worth goes. What we need in our basic routines in order for us to feel safe and secure and stable instead of flying by the seat of our pants and creating chaos for ourselves. What we need in our relationship dynamics to feel safe and secure and stable, pouring into individuals that we know are going to pour back into us. What we need in our finances, in our resources, in order to feel provided for and taken care of so that we're not in a scarcity mindset acting out of desperation and fear. And what we need as far as a realistic perspective on what our long-term goals need to be in order to build a foundation of our lives that not only feel good, but look good as well. Many of us got caught up in this false matrix, creating lives that maybe look good to the outside world that feel absolutely awful. So this is a time for us to kind of destroy, deconstruct those visuals and really get back to the basics of what it is that we need to feel good, to feel safe, to feel secure. The moon will then go ahead and make a positive interaction with Uranus. This is the breakthrough, aha moment, epiphanies that we have been waiting for. This is going to show us where it is that we have to kind of abandon our attachments, our fears, our doubts, our insecurities from the old, and where it is that we have to boss up in this rebellious, revolutionary type of nature in order for us to align with the beaten path that we can dance to our own beat, our own drum, okay? It might be a path that got beaten down from previous ancestors, previous timelines, previous storylines. It is a path that was once walked that nobody has been brave enough to walk as of late. So again, we're in the back to the future. Nothing that we're doing right now is new, except for the fact that these are new energies that the collective hasn't experienced as of yet. It's a new form of consciousness here that humanity is aligning with. But essentially speaking, if you go back into time, back into history, we are not doing anything new. We are reverting back to old ways in order for us to progress forward. This Uranian energy shakes us up. It zaps us. It jolts us. It awakens us to a new level of awareness, a new level of enlightenment, to a new path, a new revolutionary path that's going to change the course of not only our individual purpose, but the purpose of the collective of humanity. The moon then goes ahead, makes a positive interaction with the sun in Taurus energy that again is shining a bright light in our physical realms on what it is that we have to build and create. This is a beautiful, beautiful perspective on where it is that we're moving away from the old, where it is that we're gaining stability here in the present moment in order for us to launch ourselves into the future, building and creating a physical realm that again, not only looks good, but feels good to our heart, to our soul. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Pisces energy, making an interaction with Mars. Again, this is inspiration. This is creativity. This is a force of motivation and determination in order for us to get in alignment with a new passion, with a new mission, with a new calling, and to keep that energy going, that motivation going, to lead the charge, to listen to our heart space, listen to our intuition, but also get logical, get practical in the plan, in the strategy that we're going to need in order to actually blaze this new path into our future.